be talking about, is it even LI 240? Because I've heard some interesting things from my guests this morning. But today, a bill was laid, and I say a bill intentionally, you understand shortly, in Parliament yesterday. Purportedly, according to Honorable Agboja, there had been some changes to the document they had initially seen as presented by Kobina Tahiru Hammond, KT Hammond, as we know him, the Minister for Trade and Industry. But what is the way forward? What will this mean if it goes through? Will it pass the test of going through the processes for 21 days? And what then happens after that? More importantly, how will it affect you if you are constructing, if you are into construction, if you use cement? Well, this morning we have our guest joining the conversation. Immediately to my left, we have the Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Murtala Mohammed. He's disagreed with the minority side, his side in Parliament, his caucus in Parliament, on their stance. To his left, we have Mr. Samuel Amegaibo, and he is Executive Secretary for the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GRADA for short. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right. I want to start from here. The LI that was laid yesterday, we know of LI 240. What was laid on the floor of Parliament or before Parliament yesterday? What was laid?
Well, good morning to you and good morning to my colleague. A beautiful place. You guys seem to be making a lot of money.
No, it's been a lot of work in progress. This place should have been done much earlier, but there's CD dollar euro thing.
So just messed up. I know the economy is in a disastrous state, but you guys seem to be making a lot of money. It's a very beautiful edifice, and congratulations, even in the midst of turmoil and struggle.
Right.
You guys seem to be doing well. Look, what was laid yesterday was no different from what we all know.
No, just confirm for me. Was that LI 240?
What was laid yesterday was no different from what we know. If there is a proposed LI, which is 240, and there have been some amendments, as we were told yesterday by the leadership of Parliament in supporting the laying of the LI, they couldn't have, if there was any changes, they would have indicated that the LI completely has been changed. So it is the same LI which was laid yesterday. So that's what I just have to say on.
So that was LI 240?
Yes, that was LI 240, yeah.
Right. And you heard Honorable Agboja from your side saying that, well, he had been told that some changes had been effected. He mentions specifically the regulatory aspect of it. And of course, I mean, you remember the days of control price. I mean, it's an open market. He says that was the bone of contention. He was informed that it had been taken out, based on which they were now supportive of it because some crucial elements had been taken out and there had been some arrangement that they are taking it out and so they would support it. Why did you not support it?
Well, I'm a member of the Trade and Industry and Tourism Committee.
Right.
This particular LI, and mind you, it borders on a legislative instrument that government is seeking to have in Parliament. It was referred to the Subsidiary and Legislative Committee of Parliament. When they had a meeting, I sat in as a friend to the committee, and I asked some questions. In fact, I asked the minister the questions in the chamber a day before the committee sat, and when I entered, he was present. Let me quickly state that you had your reporter, Kweku Asante, who came into that meeting, and the minister demanded that he leave the meeting. And I remember appointed to the minister, per the new standing orders, the public is allowed to sit at committee meetings on condition that the chairman of the committee allows them to. And then when I made this statement, the minister said, ask the committee chair, in this case, Honorable Ayeni, whether he was comfortable with the journalist sitting. And I said he didn't have any problem with that. The minister insisted the gentleman leaves. Only for
so KT Hammond insisted that Kweku Asante leave.
To leave, and he can confirm.
And I heard that.
Only for the minister to convey a meeting with the cement producers and ambush them with media men. And when the people said they were not going to sit in the meeting, he then says that they don't have transparency. Why do we think the public would need more transparency between a meeting that the minister is going to have with producers and Committee of Parliament, where a detail of the proposed LI is discussed. So I think that he should be the last person who should be talking about transparency here. The last time I bought cement was just the day before yesterday. And I bought it at a price that is unacceptable to me.
How much?
110 cedis in Tamale.
Where?
Yeah.
In Tamale?
Tamale, yes. 100, in some instances, you even get it more than that. Here, I'm told, it's sold at 105 cedis. 110 cedis. That was how much I bought the cement. So we all agree that the prices at which we buy cement in this country is just unacceptable. There's no question at all about that. But the attempt of government trying to push the blame entirely on the producers is disingenuous. Over 70% of what is used to produce cement in this country are imported.
So what are we talking about? Limestone? I think we have
clinker,
that here.
Yes.
Clinker.
Over 70% are imported.
Right.
Actually,
Now,
95.
95, gold.
95% of...
Cement is
let's do this slowly. 95% of the components used for cement in Ghana are imported.
It's imported.
So you see...
Okay, so then it begins to make sense, because if it's imported and you look at the value of the CD and inflation, then a picture is getting painted.
I'm even coming to the forex. Over 95% of what is used to produce cement in this country are imported. There are huge imports.
So we can take your word for it, Mr. Megaibo.
There are huge, I was reporting, I said over 75. There are huge import duties that are imposed by this government on every single thing that is imported into this country, and including the over 95% of the components that is used to produce this cement. That is one. Huge import duties. Two, the cedi has lost so much value because they don't import those inputs with cedis. They import the inputs with what? With dollars. Now, so if government is seeking to put the blame entirely on producers, that is where my
But I don't think they've said that entirely. They are putting them. I think there's been some acknowledgement that
I'm saying
there are factors.
No, government.
But at least can we mitigate the factors?
Government is the major player and determinant as to how much cement should be sold in this country. And I'll provide you with statistical...
You're going back into time.
No.
Is that what you want to do?
No, I'm providing with statistical evidences,
right, and
convince you, and I believe I'll be able to convince your viewing public, that government is reneging on its responsibility. In 2009, a bag of cement was sold at 8 cedis. 2011, 9 cedis, that is 2 years apart. 2012, 12 cedis. 2014, 14 cedis. 2016, 16 cedis. 2017, that was the first year this government came into office, 18 cedis. But between 2017 to 2018, it jumped from 24 cedis to 36 cedis. And 2020, it jumped from 36 cedis in 2019 to 64 cedis. 2021, 75 cedis. 2022, 85 cedis. 2023, 95 cedis. And today in Accra, it is sold at 105 cedis. And I just told you, in Tamale, I bought it at 110 cedis.
Are there any cement producers in the northern belt of the country, or does that mean that they also have to come for it down south and then take it there and get a margin?
Exactly.
Which is why probably the 5 cedis is...
And maybe if you go further, it may even be higher than how much they are selling. But the point I'm making, the reason why prices of cement are escalating has nothing to do with the absence of regulation. Because why is it that between 2009 to 2017, every single year, it increased by 1 cedis? Every single year. Because if you look at 2009, which was 8 cedis, 2011, 2 years apart, it increased just by 1 cedis. And 2011 to 2012, by 2 cedis. So every single year, it increases by 1 cedis. Yet you have this unacceptable elephant leap, if you like, of the increases in prices under this administration. So it tells you clearly, it has nothing to do with absence of regulation. I'm concluding on this. Right. It has to do with 1, huge import duties,
right,
and 2, the disastrous performance of the Ghanaian cedi as a result of the crass incompetence and the corruption, maladministration under this government. That is the fact.
Fine. Let me come to Mr. Megaibo. You've heard Murtala make his case, make his point about LI 240. From where you sit, you do the construction, you put up these buildings. How has this reflected the price? How much are you buying cement for? Let's start from there.
I think the price is not so different from what Murtala is mentioning, but because he bought it in the north. So there's this transportation component. That
the last time you got cement, how much? I know sometimes when you're
depends on
buying
the
in
brand,
bulk
though.
as well, they reduce the
It depends
price.
on the brand. But let's assume you are buying, say, Gassem, for example. You'll be buying it about 105
in Accra.
Yeah, and so that is the price you are buying it for. There are other products also that are selling around 95.
Right.
Yeah, which are other
Okay,
brands.
so let's make the point for our viewers, because I've seen someone, for example, say, for the records, Honorable Murtala, the price is 100 Ghana cedis, and if you want, I can get it for you. Another person says some outlet, hold on, said the data was not accurate, and you were. What you are missing is that there are different grades of cement, and each of them comes at a different price.
Exactly.
So don't think that whatever data or whatever, the prices are different. If you're buying Gassem, it's different. If you're buying Dangote, it's different. If you're buying Jata, it is different. And it also depends on what you're going to do with the cement. So don't just write anything you feel like.
I even have another data, which I got even from my Joy News.
Right.
I even have another data which is not even different from the data I have provided. It just gives a slight of 1 cedi. It's the same thing.
All right. So let's.
Yeah. So as you are saying, there are also price differences.
Right.
But I think before I even delve into the main issues, I want to take this opportunity to clear the air on some misrepresentation and misconception about Grader making a statement and stating a position.
Go ahead.
On the LI. Grader has not officially made any statement taking a position on the LI. As an association and as a consumer of cement, it is in our interest to see that cement prices come down as much as possible. But this arrangement must be done in the framework of fairness and sustainability of the manufacturing companies, that they should be able to produce for us, to be able to get access to the material and buy. So Grader has not made any stand on this matter. We are all interested in seeing to it that the escalating prices are kept and then something is done to bring the prices down. And there are so many reasons why the prices are going up. Grader serves on the Cement Monitoring Committee. I have served on it 2 terms already, and so I am very much aware of what has been happening there before I even left, and even after, as I left. I have visited all the cement plants in this country, and so have a fair idea of what goes into the production of cement and what the challenges are. So as Murtala was saying, there are issues with taxes that are on the cement. There are issues with demurrage. In fact, the one on demurrage is so funny because demurrage, as I understand it, is bringing goods in and not being able to meet some requirements.
So after the days go by, you start getting charged.
Yeah, you start getting charged. But the cement manufacturer says that they are being charged for demurrage for no fault of theirs. I have brought the goods in, but there's only one dock that is discharging the cement. And you are charging me.
And so because there's one dock and there are delays, which I do not account for, I still have to pay.
Yeah. That is what they are saying.
You still have to pay the demurrage.
Yeah, that is what they are saying. I think it doesn't make sense for anybody to be incurring costs that is no fault of theirs.
Okay, so that's one point that is made. If we could add it to that, then it means that if we put the right structures in place, if for someone, it's not because I don't have the money to do the clearing. But through no fault of mine, why don't you have maybe 4 docks or 5 docks so that, because you know the component of cement that comes in, let's say every month or every quarter. So why don't you have multiple docks? If there's only one channel, it's like saying you have a stadium. There's only one outlet if there's a disaster or something of the sort. And then people go there. You know what will happen.
Yes, exactly.
There'll be a stampede and people will die.
I even say that because of the technical hitches occasioned by the fact that we are not able to produce several docks through which you can have your goods cleared. Instead of you paying demurrages, let's say a month or 2 weeks delay, we can extend it to 3 weeks or 4 weeks delay. So that beyond that, then people will then be charged the demurrages. Because the reason why they don't have the goods cleared, it isn't that they are unwilling to pay the required taxes or to have them cleared, but because they, even if
so that point is made. Mr. Megaibo, quickly on that point, what do you think can be done? I will let you go ahead with your point, but what do you think then can be done in that regard in terms of clearing the goods, taking off the tax component if you know that? I mean, what exactly, or the charges, the demurrage?
I think I'm told they are given about 3 days, and then beyond the 3 days is where the demurrage charges. So if they are in a queue for no fault of theirs,
sometimes weeks,
let them just be in the queue and clear. I don't think they should be set charge for that at all. And then they're also talking about fumigation charges that are being slapped also on their product. I'm sure maybe that is just a general levy because you are brought in goods, but I'm not sure rats eat cement. Okay, so if you are even charging them for that, I think you should engage them and let them have an understanding of why they are paying fumigation for cement.
Do you not know of any reasons for the fumigation charges?
Fumigation, obviously, if you are running a port service, you may need to have fumigation. But they are bringing the products, which I'm not sure can be contaminated.
COVID charges.
Rats. And they are being paid COVID charges as well, which COVID we know.
We're all
COVID,
paying the COVID charges.
Yeah, but how long ago has COVID disappeared in the system? And yet you are still paying charges. So that one, it cuts across board. You see. So for us, as I'm saying, we need to sit down. Sometimes you want to say like the local balance, patapa. You know, you need to get the people.
Really? Patapa?
I mean, it's more like it. It's as if that is the way we want to go. I think we need to sit down with the people. Let them tell you all the issues that are confronting them. And if you are coming to the table to discuss price regulation, government should bring something on the table in view of ABC, which are challenges that the manufacturers have brought on board. Government, will wish to take this ABC step to mitigate your problems so that we can come at a point. Then you can then ask the manufacturers that in view of me taking this off or bringing this as a contribution to the price hike, what is also, I also expect you to do A, B, and C. Then we know that there's some, agreement to work together as a team to bring the price down.
Right.
But if we don't go this way, it's as if the golden egg, which is the manufacturer, is being harassed. And then you want to cause significant prices for us, the consumers of the good thing. I think it doesn't seem to be fair. So let us play fairness. Let us allow this dialogue to take place, and then we can go. Unfortunately, the LI has been laid already yesterday. We were thinking that there will be that opportunity to engage more and more.
Honorable Murtala says there are ways of dealing with it. I listened to him.
Along the line, then that would be great, so that we can make inputs in that arrangement.
So in terms of these price hikes, you are saying that statement is not from you, or it's been misconstrued?
It was misconstrued. First of all, it was said by our former Vice President, Mr. Ablometi. He spoke in his personal capacity as a developer. He runs his own business and runs a real estate company. So he spoke throughout the interview and said, no, this is what I think should be.
But do you agree with him?
No, that's why I'm saying that we don't agree taking a stand that we want the LI or we don't want the LI.
Right.
Our position is that there must be a roundtable discussion. There must be a dialogue. Then issues are all brought onto the table. The manufacturers bring theirs, consumers will bring ours, and then the government also. And
your understanding too is that prices must go down. But it must be done fairly to the cement manufacturers. All right. Let me just read this before I come back to you, Murtala. This one says you can't. Okay, so not that one. I wanted to. This one says, why are we always afraid of regulation of our commodities? I don't know whether you've read any economics, but I'll leave that to. This one says, the MPP is a failed government, nothing more, nothing less. This one says, the average price, yes, I was looking for that one. The average price of cement in 2016 was not 16 cedis, Honorable Murtala. It was 30 cedis. That's what he says. No, I'm just stating, relax, we've all done our... I'm just stating that so you can respond to it. And which other one? Yeah, so I think we'll deal with those ones for now. I wanted to come to you with that. So you see, the source of your data is?
Oh, I'm saying that I even have a data that is provided by your station, Joy FM, and that data here, you don't see much difference. And like you explained,
so what do you see there?
I decide to use Gasem.
Okay.
Someone can decide to use Jata. Someone can decide to use other cement.
Diamond cement, Dangote.
The prices are not the same.
Right.
Even the price I quoted that I bought the cement at 110 cedis, I always use Gasem when I'm doing things. And sometimes...
And I think, Mr. Amegai, but they're super dry. There are different grades.
I use
so many of them, depending on what you want to do.
Sometimes I even use Jata. So depending on what you want at any point in time. The understanding also is that it's not every cement you use for development. You can use some for plastering.
Yes, some are for plastering.
Even the cements have...
Which is what I've corroborated.
But you see, the point I'm just trying to make is that in all these discussions, government has not been able to tell us what role they have to play. And that is why I want to lie on where he stopped. That we are demanding, all of us have agreed that the prices we buy cement in this country are just completely unacceptable. Now, the cement producers have been asked to ensure that they reduce prices. The ally was that regulating prices. Today, they are saying that it has nothing to do with price regulation. It has to do with price reporting. What does it mean? The minister is not...
You're a member of parliament. You're on the committee. Maybe you understand better.
No, you see, yesterday, the so-called amended LI, none of us has a copy. None of us has a copy.
Is that why Honorable Agboja was also saying he
was
had
informed.
been told?
Exactly. In fact,
You're saying that Honorable Agboja, even he doesn't have a copy?
I can't speak for him.
But you don't have a copy?
I don't have a copy. And after the LI was laid, I engaged Honorable Agboja, and he seems to be agreeing with me in terms of some of the issues and the questions I asked. Look, let's get something very clear. We all agree collectively that prices of cement should come down. We all agree. Because the last time I bought cement was the day before yesterday. Now, if we all agree that prices of cement should come down, and now we are demanding that there should be some regulation. By the way, there isn't any regulation any longer. We are told with the amended LI, it has nothing to do with the regulation. So those who are arguing that some people are against regulation, they should change the narrative. It is no longer about regulation. It has to do with price control. Price reporting, which doesn't make sense to me. It's nebulous. Now,
okay, so for what purpose will the price reporting be done? That's then the question. Why are we reporting the prices? To what end?
If you check the LI, the proposed LI, I have told you that I haven't seen the amended LI. If you check the proposed LI, you know, if you look at section 1, talks about the import of the LI. The objective of the LI is about price regulation, price control. And if you come to section 2, do you know what section 2 says? That as part of the responsibility to regulate prices, that it will include producers of raw materials. Now we are being told that over 95% of the raw materials for the purposes of producing this cement are imported. How are you going to regulate prices in those countries? In any case, the MPP claimed to be a center-right political party where market forces, prices are determined by the forces of demand and supply. Even ideologically, it is against the principle they believe in. But the point I'm simply making...
But it's only a fool who doesn't change his mind.
That is the
At some point...
In all this discussion, government is not been able to tell us this is the role we are also going to play to ensure that prices of cement comes down.
Right.
The government has not been able to tell us.
One factor would be, for example, if we are able to, you can't control, if 95%, as you say, and you are in the industry, is coming from external, forces.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about that. But what you can do, if, for example, the exchange rate falls, then it means the cost of production will be low, and then that will be done.
So the responsibility to put in the needed comprehensive, cohesive, very understanding, and very reasonable policy intervention is to ensure that you show up the value of the Ghanaian currency. So once the value of the Ghanaian currency is improved, naturally, cost of doing business in Ghana will improve. And I'll give you an example. Look, if government needs free, advice as to how they can do that, we have done that before in this country. In this country, in 2014, we succeeded in reducing the importation of rice into this country by 40%. We succeeded in increasing the production of local rice in this country by 60%. Under the NDC in 2016, we were spending a little over $500 million for the importation of rice and poultry products into this country. Do you know how much you spend now? Over $2 billion. Over $2 billion. So what it means is
where are you getting this from?
Check Minister of
Committee
Trade.
reports?
Check Minister of Trade. Check Minister of Finance. How much we are... In fact, as of 2018, the then Deputy Minister for Trade, Ahunka Lindsay, boasted when he met the Taiwanese government that we are now spending over $1 billion in importing rice alone from Taiwan. So if we are now spending over $2 billion in importing commodities we have the capacity to produce as a state, and when I say we have the capacity to produce, I'm a farmer, you know that. Thousands of bags of my rice are still lying in the farm. The former Minister for Health, Honorable...
Which one?
The one who just left. The one... our friend Ajimamenu has thousands of bags. I know where he farms. Thousands of bags of rice lying in the farm. We engage even the Minister for Agriculture.
Well, he's not here to confirm or deny.
I'm saying that he has. I know where he farms, and I'm talking about myself. Right. Honorable Akando has rice. Honorable Ayene, I can mention, including the Minister for Sports. I farm in his constituency.
Yusuf?
Yes. I even engaged the minister for agric. So we have the rice that is there. Buy. You know why government won't buy? NADMO is still buying imported rice. NADMO, a disaster management, which is seeking to assist people who are in a desperate situation. They are still buying imported rice. Buffer stock, they are buying imported rice. So one of the easiest way by which government can reduce the pressure on our city, if we are able to do what the NDC did in 2014 up to 2016, reduce it because we have the capacity to produce that. When you put in these measures, trust me, the dollar will begin to come down, right. The city would appreciate in value, and the cement producers would have no justification to increase prices of cement using Forex as a means of doing it. So government should be able to tell us.
So are you suggesting the minister is blowing hot and cold on some of these matters? Because on the other end, your end also poo-pooed. You jettisoned the import bill, which also was looking to tackle some of these things. Are you not being hypocritical?
No, we didn't just jettison. We were talking about, if you like, tax incentives and holidays that are given. And
the powers of the minister.
I'm saying the tax incentives and holidays that are given to certain companies at the very time when we are seeking to borrow money. Money that is less than how much tax rebate was given to companies.
Hold for me. I see this message, and I'm coming to you, Mr. Megaibo. Yeah. In Enchi, Western North region, in Toth, Theophilus sends this. In Enchi, Western North region, prices range from 105 Ghana cedis to 130 Ghana cedis. He's reporting. If you are in Enchi, where they said, I'll send you to. You remember that? If you are in Enchi, please let me know. How much are you buying cement for? If you are in the Western region, Western North region, or in Enchi specifically, let me know. Let me see whether I can confirm.
You know one of the clauses in the proposed LI, one of the clauses which is so outrageous. They say that wholesalers, retailers and producers of cement should annually report. Do you know the number of retailers we have in cement in Accra alone? Now, let me tell you, if you have a producer or a wholesaler, someone who deals in cement, trading, right. The person comes to Accra to buy 1,000 bags of cement, transport the cement to Tamale. Another person buys the same cement from Tamale to Boku. Do you expect them to sell the cement at the same price?
I get your point. Mr. Megaibo, now, what has been the real impact of these price hikes? Because as some are pointing out, even pegged at 26 cities around 2016. And now you are looking at 105, 110, 130, as someone is saying, in Enchi. And you can understand, they don't produce cement in Enchi. Exactly. They will have to come down south, get it, transport it, add on margins, and then you have a problem. What impact is this having on the building and construction that you deal with as Grader?
Yeah, I always make this analogy that construction or house building is a branch of manufacturing because we are also producing houses. And our product, unfortunately, does not take around 24 hours to produce, just like supermarket items where you just roll in through a machine server and then in 24 hours you have the product finished. Ours take a long time to manifest. You start the foundation all the way to the roofing level. It could take you 6 months or even a year, depending on the kind of project you are doing. So when you are executing a project of this nature, and then you start with the foundation at 60 Ghana cedis a bag, you get to block work on the superstructure. You buy cement at 70 Ghana. You are doing the roof gabling. You are buying it at 80. When we are doing plastering, it is 90. When we are doing floor finishing, it is 100. Tell me how in the
and this will impact pricing because and it will impact trust because you've told someone I'm putting this up for you at this cost, and then every step of the way you are increasing the price.
You are increasing prices. So it is difficult. Anytime quantity surveyors do their bill of quantities, they give a margin of something for what we call contingency. It is done within a framework of some base calculation, and then you say maybe 10% contingency. This 10% contingency will be consumed by 1 month of the beginning of the project. Sometimes we don't even start, then that contingency is already gone. How do you work the relationship between you, the producer of the house, and the person you have contracted with to execute a project over a period?
How have you navigated all of this in respect in reference to your clients? I mean,
yes.
What challenges exist?
Sometimes the client themselves, knowing what is happening in the market, may be willing to agree with you and say, look, I'm seeing what you are seeing. I was involved in a project where even before we started excavating the foundation, the pricing system on the market had already priced the project out. The client had to agree and say, look, we have done this contract already, but I am willing to pay you every cost difference that you incur on the market for your material if you show me evidence of purchase. How many clients will be willing to go with you?
Are most of them unwilling to do that?
Most of them are unwilling. In
so
fact,
you end up fighting?
Fighting. Some of them will even tell you that then the contract is over. Because he has a budget for this project. Yeah. And if he doesn't have the financial capacity to go it through all to the end, he will recoil. He will call back the entire project altogether and say, look, let me go and rethink about it. Let me go and reorganize myself and see if I can raise the difference that is occurring before it comes back onto the market.
Is that leading to debt for you?
A lot. And then those who are even signing mortgages. Can you imagine somebody who has come to put an application, has come to, take your property, has gone to the mortgage house and has gone to sign something, and this thing takes a process. By the time he signs the off-taker agreement with the, the developer, and start processing his agreement with the mortgagee, by the time he gets to the end, he'll be told that, sorry, the price we agreed on from day one on the mortgage price, I'm sorry, the developer has called and says that he cannot go with that price anymore, so we need to amend it. And then he go like, oh, either he himself will not qualify, or now the mortgage itself, you will not qualify anymore. Because they have profiled you based on your income and where that.
Exactly, and your income hasn't changed.
And your income hasn't changed, but the price has gone up. So sometimes when developers are pricing and indexing their price to the dollar, it is some of these reasons that people must appreciate. The reason why real estate developers sometimes index their price to the dollar. Because if I give a price today to you, and this hitches of cement price increment and all these increments, okay, I'm obliged to also make
it's not just real estate. I mean, so many things are being indexed to the dollar. But people now, even jewelry shops and the rest, if you go there and people keep telling me, they are indexing to the dollar because what's the price of gold on the international?
And then it hits a lot of.
So if you use city equivalents, but that is the problem we have. But let me ask you this. Do you contract loans for some of your, because then,
exactly.
If you've contracted a loan, let's say $1 million, we know we are going to complete, let's say, 3, 4, 5 projects. And then all of a sudden, you are not able to complete 3, 4, 5. You are completing 1.5, 2 with that sum of money. What's the situation there?
If there's an exchange rate issue, obviously, I mean, your payment goes up. Yeah. If you had contracted dollar loan, and it is 1:2, and it has gone up to 1:3. It means that you, as a CD earner, you have to, quadruple your effort to be able to raise the needed money to go back and pay. So, Benjamin, it's as straightforward as that. It has a very significant impact on our business. But let me play the devil's advocate.
But is it also leading to shoddy work before you play the devil's advocate?
Yeah.
Are some people likely cutting corners, not using, because if you don't do certain things with a foundation, we've had buildings collapse in this country.
So that is why the public must understand the kind of cement we have on the market, and they must appreciate the appropriate use of the cement. If in your imagination, Gassam is selling 42.5 N or R for a price, and you think it is too high, and you are in a hurry to go and buy 32.5, thinking that you are saving money, I'm sorry, that cement that you are going to buy is not appropriate for high infrastructure projects like concrete and columns of that nature. You cannot use those products. Now there's even cement purposely for plastering. Yeah. I hope people are not mistakenly in a hurry to go and buy these prices of cement, which are cheaper in terms of their price, and think that they are playing smart and saving money. Please, this is not correct.
It may lead to disaster.
It may lead to disaster because the various types of cement are meant for specific aspects of every project. So you may have a high-rise building sitting there, and a particular part of cement is used for the columns and the flooring, and another type of cement is used for the laying of the blocks, and another type of cement is used for the plastering. Yeah. So if you think that you are saving
even money, if you're going to use tiles and all of that, there's a different type of cement. So each one comes at its own price.
So where I said I want to play the devil's advocate, something must necessitate the reason why a government will want to regulate price. which we agree. It happened in the petroleum sector. It's happening in some parts of other prices like cement. And we are even asking, what about not iron rods as well? You see,
I mean, I've had people even send messages, and they're regulating rent and everything.
It will go
in there as well.
But what I mean is that something must necessitate, unless the minister has an information that all of us don't have, which is maybe he has every reason to believe that the cement manufacturers are in a cartel.
Okay.
Have decided to cartel us.
Manipulate the price.
Manipulate the price. But that was not the posture I got from the cement manufacturers, especially when we met yesterday. Because there was this information about the fact that the minister has decided to fast-track this LI and push it because he was not getting the cooperation of the cement manufacturers, and they are unwilling to disclose the ex-factory price of cement.
So you're trying to say the minister simply wants to bully the cement manufacturers.
That is why I use the word, the local balance.
No, but is that not what you are saying?
That is why I look at it.
Is that not what you are saying?
It might sound as if he wants to apply patapa, which is not the best way. You see,
all right.
My honorable, let me just finish.
Please let him finish. I'll give you enough time. Don't worry. Let him finish.
So the manufacturers are saying we are willing for price transparency, and the LI is seeking to do price regulation, which the manufacturers are not comfortable with. So let's find a middle point. If the manufacturers are willing to be transparent in their pricing, when we all know where the average factory price is, everybody knows how much clinker is sold on the international market.
Right.
Let's put these figures together. Let's find out how much they pay when the material reaches the port, the duties that they pay. Let us find out the effect of this demurrage that they are claiming is a major factor on why they have. Let's put all these figures together and let's see whether the manufacturers are reasonable in their kind of prices. If we don't do this calculation together, then we are misplacing the point.
All right. Let me just say this, and I'm coming to you, Murtala. Akasokre Joseph says, Upper East Bongo cement is going for between 115 cedis and 120 cedis. So I think the farther you go, the more you will pay because of transportation costs, among others. I know you have a reflection. I was going to hit you with a specific question, but quick thoughts on what he said, and then I'll come to you with your substantive question.
Well, my position is that in all these discussions we have, in all this debate, government has not been able to tell us what he can do. And when I say he, I mean government. What government can do to ensure that the prices of cement come down. Taking into consideration that government has a huge influence as far as the determination of prices of cement in this country are concerned. When you have over 95% of the inputs for the purposes of producing cement are imported, and those inputs are all taxed. When we all agree that Forex has a huge impact on the prices of cement we produce in this country. But you see, that is even besides the point. The initial argument was that it was price regulation. Is that not the case?
Yeah.
Or price control. If you check the proposed LI, the heading was price control. Now we are now being told that it is no longer price control. Then what's the essence of this LI?
Are you saying you doubt the LI?
I'm saying that
because you've not even seen the content of it.
If you check the proposed LI,
right,
which I have a copy.
Right.
The objective of the LI, if you check section 1, A, B, C are all talking about price control. In fact, every single paragraph, there's an element of price control into it. Yesterday, we were made to understand that the bone of contention was a price control, and that the price control has been removed. It is now price reporting. When we are not told, the content of the LI hasn't changed. It's just the name which has changed. If we were to change the content, it means that the minister would have come with a new LI entirely. That is why when you ask me whether the LI which was laid yesterday was the same thing as the LI that...
LI 240.
So I'm saying that the content hasn't changed.
Right.
So if it is the same LI, which I shudder to believe is the same LI, it's just the name which is changed from price control to price reporting. I have a problem. But you see, my worry is the responsibility of the minister and the Ghana Standard Authority. As a member of the Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee, we engaged the Ghana Standard Authority, and they informed us at the committee level that there were some cement producers in this country who were producing substandard cement. And if you look at the component, there's a...
But I do remember some Chinese
I'm coming.
Cement manufacturers in the Ashanti region were
not only
shut down.
Not only they were shut down, but when we had a meeting with the committee again, they said when their task force went, some of them were producing again. And when they demanded, they said they had authorization from the above. The minister was there when this point was made. Right. Now, don't you think it would be appropriate? The minister is seeking to come out with an ally that will regulate the quality of materials that are used to produce cement. When we have had experiences of buildings collapsing in this country, the minister is not interested in that. I would love that you engage the minister, and I would love that you ask the minister this question, because I have asked the minister without any response. I would love you to ask the minister that tell us the role of government in the determination of the final prices of cement in this country.
Let me ask you something quickly before I get to the main point I wanted to bring. You've been a deputy minister of trade before.
Yes.
If you were minister in KT Hammond's shoes, if you were faced with these prices, what would you have done?
First and foremost, I won't do what KT Hammond.
No, I'm not asking what KT. What would you do? What would you do?
First and foremost, I won't do what Honorable KT Hammond is doing. I won't do that. That's the first statement. Two, I would sit with the cement producers to find out what the challenges they face and for which reason they are selling at such prices. They would have told me that one, that we are paying higher demorages, which is not any fault of ours.
What would you have done about that point?
I would have
Let's take it one by one.
Insisted at cabinet, engage the Minister for Finance and the President, that as a result of the infrastructure challenges, for which reason cement producers finds it difficult to clear their goods timeously. Let's see if we can extend the days by which they will pay demorages. Instead of 3 days, we can say, okay, 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, then you can begin to pay demorages. That's the first step. The other one will be that how much import duties are you paying, considering the fact that over 95% of the inputs for the production of cement are imported. I'll consider that. What can government do in terms of reducing the tax burden on the importation of the inputs for the purposes of producing cement? Mind you, it's an essential commodity. So if I'm able to reduce it, then 3, what is also another factor? The other factor is forex, the depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi. What kind of comprehensive policy intervention can we, through the Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance, and the government, implement to ensure that we show up the value of the Ghanaian cedi? And that is why I told you that one of the easiest advice I could give, if we were experiencing what we are experiencing today, that why is it that we are spending over $2 billion in importing goods that we have the capacity to produce? I would say, NADMO, don't distribute imported rice any longer. Buy the rice from the Ghanaian.
But that is beyond them, isn't it?
No,
NADMO doesn't determine
the
purchases.
You are asking me what I would.
Okay, so you would have done that. Okay,
yes, I would advise that, look, NADMO, why? The money NADMO buys the items with is our money. So why would NADMO use our money, the taxpayers' money, to buy rice that is imported into this country, to buy commodities that are imported when we have the capacity to produce them? 2, why is it that we are spending over $2 billion importing rice and poultry products, things we have the capacity to produce? I have just told you, every year Avnash buys the rice we produce. 2 years ago, last 2 years and last year, Avnash didn't buy. You know the reason? Government is the biggest buyer. Government is no longer buying from them. So if they buy from us, they won't be able to sell. Now, the farmers who produce the rice have the rice in the farms. And that's why I've just given an example. I engaged the former Minister for Health. Myself, I'm a victim, several other people. Now, if government decides to buy the rice from us, we will reduce the amount of money we spend in buying. And I told you we have done it before, in 2014. As a result of visionary policy interventions by President Mahama, we reduced the money, the money we spend in the importation of rice into this country by 40% and increased the production of local rice by 60%. So it has happened before. These are the kind of advices I'll give to government.
All right. Mr. Megaibo, what would be, if you had the power, how would you approach this problem? What solutions, from the technical expertise you have, how would you approach this problem?
I think the first one is the issue of dialogue. which doesn't seem to exist.
Yeah.
The minister complains that he's tried to engage the manufacturers. The manufacturers have been difficult.
And not referencing the meeting from, is it 2 or 3 days ago, but the development,
Cement Manufacturing Development Committee.
Right. Their chair, they had a meeting as
yesterday.
Yesterday.
Now, the committee even tells you that this airline which was placed, they haven't seen it. Anybody in that meeting?
That committee?
Yes. That meeting we had yesterday, nobody in the room has seen the airline. So if an airline is coming to work for everybody, the players have not seen it. The players did not make an input.
Even members of Parliament.
And the minister is saying that he is not obliged to consult anybody. Let's say that is it.
No, he's obliged.
But they are conventions, the way Parliament work. I mean, a member of Parliament will tell us, before some of these things come to the floor, for it to impact and achieve its aim, it is consultation, which is number one. But
and so you're saying that the minister has failed on that?
I think so. I think he's failed on that.
The minister has failed in terms of consulting, engaging.
The people, government, after passing air license law, relies on agencies, relies on institutions, relies on businesses to do the collection or to make the airline impact as much as they want to. And the people who are going to make the airline impact have not been consulted. How do you expect
Do you feel KT Hammond is in too much of a hurry to see this through?
I think so.
You think he's in too much of a hurry?
Yeah, he needs to take his time. You see, when an industry which has never been regulated is to be regulated now, it takes time. You need to jaw. You need to stir the temperature of the people that the thing is going to impact, and then take your time to communicate the intents. This draft, if it had been given to the mandate of the committee, could have even been the people who drafted this airline for the minister to rather make inputs. I think it would have been easy to lay that airline.
Because if they put the things together. They are in full support of it.
They are in full support of it. But the people that the committee are not aware. Let me make a small correction. There is an airline that is supposed to register and license cement manufacturers and enforce enforcement of standards.
Right.
And then where cement plants or factories are supposed to be located. So that LI has been passed. It was passed in November 2023. And it is supposed to take effect sometime now. So the committee, the committee that I just mentioned, Cement Manufacturing Development Committee, who are supposed to manage this LI, were inaugurated on the 8th of March.
8th of March
this year.
I see.
And this is why we met yesterday, actually. So the chairman said,
look, you're a member?
Yes, I'm a member of the... No, we are not a member of the committee. Our membership is through AGI and the Ghana Institution.
The Association of Ghana Industry.
And
so they all have representation.
They are all representation. And the Institution of Engineering and the Engineering Council. These are two strong bodies that can represent the construction industry, which is fine with us. So we don't have a problem with that. And they are saying, this is actually why we met yesterday. So they are saying that they want to explain things to us so that we appreciate. This is some of the things that we talk about. Consulting the people, judging with the people. And I'm telling you, before this LI 2480 was passed, it was in the full glare of the industry players. They made input into it before it was launched. So there's no problem with this.
Even in Parliament.
But in this instance, that has not been done.
Now I don't even know what the name is, whether it is price control or price reporting or whatever. I have not seen it, so I'm unable to speak to it.
But would you be in any way, shape, form, be in support of price reporting for cement manufacturers? If you were a cement manufacturer, would you be for it?
In fact, I don't know what the reporting means. But I'm telling you that from yesterday, the meeting that we had with the manufacturers, they are saying that they are amenable to what? Transparency. They are willing to share their average ex-factory price. They make it open for all of us to see what is happening. So if these things are being done, they are willing to share their prices for all of us to see. Then what exactly is this LI supposed to do? To what? Regulate prices at what level?
To report, no.
First of all, some manufacturers or some cement prices on the market are lower than the 105 or whatever, unless they belong to the substandard group, which I don't know. I cannot confirm that. But assuming they are also producing at the high standard quality, I'm not sure whether this airline is going to be happy with those who are selling at that lower price today, or they will also be asked to pep up, because maybe that's not the price the ministry is looking at. The ministry is looking at maybe 100. So those who are selling below 100, please up your game and come to 100. Then those of you who are selling 105 or above 100, you to what? Come down to 100. I'm not too sure what that is supposed to mean. But at the end of the day, the manufacturers are saying, we want to be transparent. We are willing to be transparent. We are willing to share our average factory price. And if all this is done, then we know see clearly what are the other additional factors, the taxes that are coming on, and other difficulties that they are going through, which is incurring extra cost to them, are all added on. Then we see clearly who is at fault,
right?
Who is playing game, who is playing cartel. We should just know this.
Are you done with your solution?
Yes, I am.
All right. So let me come to you. The process is 21 days required. We all know about Parliament going on its next recess and all of that. How will that play out in Parliament? You've also said, I heard you yesterday, that there are processes where you can still tackle this in Parliament. What will you do?
Well, even before that, when LIs are brought to Parliament and the LI borders on a certain group of people, in this case, whatever LI we pass would impact on the lives of the Ghanaian citizen or Ghanaian people. Usually what Parliament does is that the committee haven't engaged those who bring the LI, in this case, the Ministry of Justice, and others, and other various stakeholders who are involved. The committee also even engages the public. The public can make an input into the LI. Just yesterday in the morning, I had a discussion with Honorable Ayeni, who is the chairman of Subsidiary and Legislative Committee. And I said, look, it would be good we engage the manufacturers of cement, because we should be clothed with the detailed information. If there is a cartel, the minister doesn't need to hide that cartel from a committee of Parliament.
Right.
It needs, because you come to us to give you the legal backing. We need to know the full story. Now, and then Honorable Ayeni agrees that, look, he would get them so that we engage them. Just yesterday, and then the LI was late. The reason why I think that there wasn't much...
Let me just quickly ask you this. Do you think your leadership in Parliament was, I'm using this respectfully, fooled into accepting this?
Not fooled. Not fooled. You see, that's why I said that...
Or tricked?
No, not tricked. That's why I said yesterday that after the LI was late, I registered my protest. I made my position very clear. I engaged in the leadership. And in fact, Honorable Agboja agrees with me to a very large extent. And he says, look, that is not the end of the LI. Once the LI is late, and to answer the question you asked, they have 21 days of sitting for it to become law. If you calculate the number of days we now have left, if we do not sit on Mondays, this LI will come to naught.
Okay.
By the time we rise, if we do not sit on Mondays, they won't get the 21, if you like, our 21 days of sitting. And again...
But that can be managed, and the Speaker could be, there could be recommendations for the Speaker to do that.
That is why some of us strongly believe that having engaged, like I told you, I engaged some of our leadership, and there are a lot of people, even across the aisle, who have the same sentiments and agree with the position...
You mean from the majority side?
Yes, some of us have taken. That, look, it simply doesn't make sense, because if you tell us that it was no longer about price regulation, it is now price reporting. You haven't been able to explain to us what constitutes price reporting, when every single section of the proposed LI borders on price.
Okay, so that point is made. What will you do as Murtala Mohammed? What are you going to do?
First and foremost, we need to I will continue with the engagement from both sides, from our side. And I'm not the only person. Many of us who agrees with this position. And we will also try to convince Parliament, in this case, Mr. Speaker, by engaging the manufacturers of cement. Like I told you, Honorable Ayeni promised that he was going to get them, and then we engage them. One of the challenges I had with what Parliament did, it was referred to Subsidiary and Legislative Committee. It borders on one, laws, natural, that's the committee, but we were expecting that it would be a joint committee with the Committee for Trade, Industries and Tourism. Because, mind you, whatever law that is passed, the enforcers of that law falls under the ambit of the Ministry of Trade and Industry.
Right.
The Ghana Standard Authority, any other agency that is going to be tasked with the responsibility to ensure that the LI is effectively implemented, it is going to be the Ministry of Trade and not a committee of Parliament. So we're expecting that there will be a joint committee. I sat in as a friend of the committee because I had particular interest. So I think that we're able to raise this with the Speaker. And I believe that once we engage the other stakeholders in this matter, the Speaker may see reason in some of the points we are making.
Gentlemen, 30 seconds each. Final words, Mr. Megaibo.
I think the airline has been laid already, unfortunately. So industry players have no choice. It has been laid.
Are you sad that that happened?
Well, I don't want to say...
Are you unhappy?
I am unhappy.
Will you be happy if it is truncated?
Well...
He says he's unhappy, so I think that answers
if it is truncated, what avenues do we have to discuss price coming down?
So that is our point. Proper
consultation takes place.
Yes.
So I think from the meeting yesterday, it has been laid already. As you are saying, as a legislator, you are saying that there's also avenue to make input within the 21 days that is allowed to us. So before we left yesterday, the agreement was that when the LI is published, all of us look into it, make our input and submit it where necessary. The chairman has agreed to organize maybe 1 or 2 meetings before the 21 days so that we can, put our inputs together and then submit it to
30 seconds, let's go. Final words.
Our point is very clear. We all feel the brunt of paying higher prices for cement, which is completely unacceptable. The cement producers have questions to answer. The minister and government also has questions to answer. Our position, and the reason why we have a problem with this is that government is trying to blame entirely the cement producers without telling us what role government can play in ensuring that the prices of cement come down. And one of the rules government can play, ensuring that there are comprehensive policy intervention to show up the value of our domestic currency, ensure that the demurrages that they pay as a result of delay, which is not any fault of theirs, government takes steps to reduce that, either by providing more docks or, again, extending the number of days that they are imports to be attracting the money. And last point is that we're also hoping that government will take steps to have some tax incentives for this producer because it's essential commodity. If government does that, wouldn't it be fair that he extends that to other essential commodities? I think that this LI was brought as a result of uncontrollable emotion, which would yield to nothing, to be very honest with you, and even implementing and enforcing it is going to be extremely difficult. These are not the kinds of policy interventions government should be seeking to.
All right. And that's how we're going to cap off the conversation this morning. Those who joined me, Tamale Central legislator Murtala Mohammed, he is not supportive of his caucus's positioning as far as accepting this bill. He has shared his thoughts.
I have different views.
You have different views. How different is it from what I have said?
Even my caucus, in fact,
But it's fine. It's fine. Let's just stick to your wedding. Let's not turn this into another.
The minority chief whip position was that having been informed with some of these changes, we think that we support it. It doesn't mean that we support it entirely. If there are some reasons.
So you don't support your caucus's decision in entirety, right?
Oh, yes, I don't.
Users of cement want to see prices come down. It should be done in fair manner.
And that is Mr. Samuel Amegaibo. He is the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association. Both of them join us for this conversation. The conversation continues. Out there, you are buying cement, and you can tell us better. But stay with us. Up next, when we return from the break, we give you AM Business. Of course, today being a Wednesday. Now, effective supply chain management fuels economic growth by optimizing production processes and facilitating trade. It also enables businesses to reach wider markets, expand their operations, and create employment opportunities. Well, today on AM Business, my colleague Isaac Atase Nyako assesses the impact of events such as the Russia-Ukraine conflict, COVID-19 pandemic, and how Africa can build an effective chain to support trade among member states. Enjoy.